Hours.com.
Okay, let's get you feeling good and healthy this morning. And if you think I'd love to, but it can just be really too complicated sometimes, don't worry, because our next guests have made it a lot easier for you. Leave it to Ed Jones and Katie Kuhlman from Nutrition World to always be coming up with something new. So this one's brand new, right? Just hit the market a day or so ago.
It is, and before we get to that, I actually want to speak a little bit about, I'm going to guess with 98% accuracy, the vast majority of everyone watching this show right now, if you're past 25 years old, has some struggles. They have struggles with feeling the energy they felt when they were younger, the more aches and pains, anxiety, depression, that 2 o'clock big downturn that you get. And it's feeling like you're out of balance. And I use the analogy a lot of an orchestra. If you had an orchestra or you're listening to one that had 500 musicians and it was out of tune, you would know that probably there's more than one musician that needs to be tuned up. Well, that's the way it is with our health, and that health is what filters down to our quality of life and our resistance to aging and doing all the things we want, because we're not aging gracefully in this epidemic of times that we have. A lot of it has to do with mistakes that we don't know we're making. And there's really 4 pillars to, and I've watched this for 45 years, 4 pillars that I see that have to be thought about. One is your exercise. One is your sleep. People who want to learn to sleep again, and taking drugs is not the way to do that. You go to nutritionw.com, Google that with sleep ebook. I've written a book that's on there. It's free. It teaches you how to learn to sleep again. And then thirdly is your food choices. But lastly, this is where traditional medicine is actually so lacking skills in, is the foundation of nutritional supplementation. Some people say, oh, just get it from your food. That is so outdated that it is silly and laughable.
Why?
Because the soils are depleted. The glyphosate that's being sprayed on so many foods, it's actually was patented as an antibiotic in '72. It's killing our microbiome. The fact that processed foods with this many carbs is killing us. We need more protein, more healthy fat, and far less carbs. But as far as nutritional supplements, Nutrition World has 8,000 different supplements. Can you imagine walking into a store with 8,000? People are like, where do I start?
It's a little bit intimidating, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And we have worked for years to make it simple. We finally now have the way to do that, because we know what is required. It's not a 1-a-day vitamin. It's not a Centrum. Those are, again, laughable components from the 1950s. So we know you got to have these certain arrays of nutrients. Well, before, you had to line up about 7 to 8 bottles to do what we feel like. And what I have observed for 45 years actually changes blood chemistry to optimal and gives life more of a spark. And Katie's going to explain that.
Yeah, Katie, you couldn't see her, but she just pulled the Vanna White move. These are her 7 or 8. So this is what you encourage people to take.
Right.
This type of
these
supplement.
nutrients, exactly. So this is kind of our core 4 idea here. Now there's more than 4 bottles, but essentially it's a multivitamin, it's a fish oil, it's a high quality magnesium that's not magnesium oxide, this is magnesium glycinate, vitamin D, vitamin K, and then an antioxidant like broccoli that's right here. So all of these make up this idea that Ed is talking about the core 4. So replenishing us with nutrients that we should be getting from food, but there is no way to eat your quantity of food to give you these nutrients. It's just impossible. And so this is the concept of core 4. But the most exciting thing I think that we have in probably years, and we have lots of exciting things that go on in Nutrition World, but we now have this all in a box. So it is in a kit now. So we are taking the high quality multivitamin. We call this our ancestral multivitamin that's in here. It's got all the high quality B vitamin, it's got minerals, it's got some antioxidants, it's got the broccoli blend, which is wonderful for making sure the liver's processing things properly, hormone balance. It's got the magnesium, the fish oil, the vitamin D, and the vitamin K, and it's all coming in a little convenient pack now like this.
Can I hold that?
Yeah, absolutely. So easy to travel with. Easy to pack in your lunchbox for work, easy to take half in the morning, half at night. I mean, the ease of this and the quality of this is truly absolutely amazing.
Okay, so I want y'all to look at this for a minute. So what are these ginormous things here?
So that's fish oil.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a standard size of fish oil. That's
It
just,
is.
The molecules are big and they have to be in that
It's
large
just how
of
it
a
works.
soft gel. Yeah.
Okay, what is this one? Do you know?
That's the multivitamin. So that's the ancestral multi.
That's also a little bit bigger, probably, than most people are used to taking.
It could be. That's about an average size, I would say, for us on our shelf.
Is
but
it?
It could be a little bit bigger.
So do you recommend, like, do you take these with water? Does it matter?
I would do water. I mean, you could do any liquid, but water to me would get it down the easiest.
And with food is probably best.
Yes.
This is not something that probably many kids are going to be able to do. So is this adult specific?
I will say 15 and over would be perfectly fine.
Okay.
A lot of that's body weight.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you were talking, I know, about how people begin to feel these things. Sometimes do people, because it can come on so gradually, do we even forget how good we once felt? So we think we're feeling fine now, and we really aren't. So if you begin taking things like this, you feel...
Oh, I think people almost think the norm is just the sluggishness, the brain fog, the exhaustion, the not being able to have mental clarity, not be able to show up. That is not normal.
And that's because
absolutely not
so
normal.
many people are telling that same story. So when you hear everyone saying, my 2 o'clock fatigue,
Yeah.
I'm depressed, I have chaos in the mind, I don't sleep, you just think, well, that is just a part of life. It's not part of life. I have people who are so vibrant. I feel like I'm, I've had double hip replacement, I've had my chair. I don't feel like I'm 25 years old. But I don't feel like I'm 67. I feel like I'm about 42, and as long as I manage sleep, my food intake, and take the right supplements, I can age gracefully. We can't stop father aging, but we can age gracefully. We're not aging gracefully in this community.
I only have a couple of minutes left, but you said something about the soil and different things and antibiotics sprayed on things, and then you mentioned something that kills the microbiome in our gut.
Well, that is glyphosate.
Is that one of the reasons why we see people struggle so with their weight?
Potentially. I do think that's a piece to the puzzle, but what glyphosate is Roundup, so that's the other word for it. So when we're spraying our gardens and we're killing the weeds, glyphosate is Roundup, but it's a registered antibiotic, like he said. So think about us ingesting these foods. We all know we're not supposed to take antibiotics all the time, right? Like
Right.
the general public knows that. They take them for acute scenarios, not everyday ingestion. So that's going into our gut, making our gut porous and leaky, which means we're getting less absorption from nutrients because our gut is not tight the way it should be. And then there's a gut-brain connection, so feeling optimal in the brain requires the gut to be optimal. So yes, indirectly there could be a weight issue that could occur with lots of glyphosate, but not direct.
Okay, so
And that's why we have a separate conversation for probiotics.
Yeah.
We cannot include this. It has to be personalized based on the person and their needs, and we carry a humongous selection.
Yeah.
that's going to sell out, this little kit. So I guess you have plenty on the shelves.
Just came in yesterday.
Just
Yeah.
came in yesterday. Do you know it's a month's supply in there? Is that
Yes,
right?
a month's supply.
Do you know how much it costs?
So it's $129.
Okay.
And so if we were to stack all of this, we'd be well over $150, $160. And so we have made it a little bit more affordable by putting it in here and the convenience idea of it, but it is $129.99.
So the question is, do you want to give yourself a $130 chance for the month to see how good you feel?
And I say do it 5 days a week if you're on a budget. You can take weekends off, just do 5 days a week. That adds an extra week to this whole plan.
And they said it 8,000 items on the shelves, so go see for yourself by going to Nutrition World on Lee Highway. There's the website that Ed mentioned where he's always putting different writings and blogs and things, nutritionw.com, 892-4085. And also they hand source these because they want to know the quality behind what they're then selling to you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You wake up, clock in, and put in a hard day's work. But what happens when an ordinary workday takes a turn for the worse? If you were injured on the job and feel like no one has your back, we do. Give us a call. It's more to us. It's personal.